Welcome to the channel, Levi here. This is a professional series where I want to share with the professional who offers this kind of work and wants to get more integrated with the type of corrective exercise that I like to teach. If you're the everyday user, also great information in this. So what I want to cover today is, where do you begin as you're working through fascial chains and fascial patterns in the body and in the movement system? Normally I work from the hips out, and that's because I find that fascia can get really entrapped in a ball and socket joint because there's a lot of room for it to gather and pinch, and then it pulls from everywhere. And so once you can address that, you really open up the fascial body to go back to neutral. But there are times, on the rare occasion, that it's important that I also work from the eyes down. And if that's information that is really intriguing to you and wondering like, why did you do that? I'll get to it in a second. But first, I want you to consider subscribing to the channel if this is information that you like. Leave some comments so I know what kind of content you're into, and we'll consider putting more of that in here. If you have a client or a family member or even yourself have issues with some vision and impairment, whether it be cataracts or vision differences, one eye has a different prescription than the other, or blind in one eye, then this is really valuable information. So you can share this video with them, have them subscribe to the page, share this video. So let's dig into some of that. So I talked about my normal working from hips out and why, and most of my videos actually cover that. So let's dive right into the eye piece. I began learning this when I have a family member who is blind in one eye, and I would do a lot of the working the hips out fascially that would bring her quite a bit of relief immediately, but it wouldn't last and it wouldn't hold, and I didn't know why, because everyone else that I worked hips out normally addressed the problem and it was done. With her, I've begun to realize that she approached and lived in the world like this. She was centering her one eye that she could see from, which then, if you can imagine, begins to change the structures and the tensions all the way down the spine and the body. So some things get really shortened, some things get lengthened. And if you know from this channel so far, lengthened muscles is generally where the pain symptoms lie. So I got to have a really good teacher in my sister's body, because her body was explaining to me that it needed something different. So when we're here, you can imagine this sternocleidomastoid is stuck in the shortened position, which means this one's stuck in a lengthened position, which normally means tension headaches. She had insane migraines all the time. Compressions down the cervical spine where it could be impinging nerve roots and where nerves come out to the rest of the body. There is sometimes that she struggled with sleep paralysis, where she would wake up and she just couldn't move. We'll get into that when I go over a video with her and she can share that story. But what that specific instance taught me, when she had a friend who was literally holding the video chat over the bed where she couldn't move, but she could just kind of explain the pain and severity that was going on. I got to work with her through her body and learn working from the eyes down actually brought her tremendous relief. She was told that she probably needed to be in bed for a month after she had seen, I think she went to the ER or urgent care. And she was actually back to work, I think by the end of that day. So we worked through a sternocleidomastoid, we worked through some tensions through her pecs. Those are all things that we'll cover in other specific videos of how to address these joints. But that's what I look for when I'm dealing with someone. I generally assume we'll work from the hips out, but also if someone's body is telling me that there is an eye issue, which you again can normally spot by, like, are they coming at you with an eye that's more centered? That's when you know you can also add a layered approach of from the eyes down. I like to call it another root. So I always look at this as like, this is the root that I'm working from. In those cases, I'm working from two roots, which generally leaves me meeting in the middle. So again, if this is information that you like, that you've got something out of, then consider subscribing to the channel. And if this is something that you think would be helpful for, maybe you have a family member who's a professional, maybe you have a family member who deals with this stuff. Maybe your optometrist is a curious person and you want to share this information with them. I would love to get this information out to as many people as we can, help as many people as we can, get out of pains. It's simple, it's It's easy. As a professional, I thank you as the professional for what you do. And thank you for sharing your time with me.